Hello and welcome to the Ice Guys. This is the show that takes you into the world of the National Hockey League. Every game, every day, from a betting perspective. With pro sports handicappers, Ian Cameron, Alex P. Smith, and various guests from the world of hockey and sports betting. And now, here's your host, Ian Cameron.
Welcome to the Ice Guys, Monday, October 16th. Ian Cameron, Alex B. Smith, ready to break it down. Another NHL slate on tap, 5 games tonight, and they're all 7 p.m. Eastern start time, so make note of that. It's weird how they've done it this way, but it is what it is. They're all at the same start time tonight. We'll break those down. Briefly yesterday, Ottawa taking care of business against Tampa Bay, 5-2. Great to see that. Ottawa team total for me, Ottawa money line, which was best bet for Alex on the show yesterday. My over 6.5 gets home as well, which was my best bet on the show. So 2-0 best bet sweep on Sunday, 4-0 sides and total sweep for me, because the other game, Anaheim, man, we thought they would be live, and Carolina in a bit of a tricky spot. They've already had a 2-0 start, no urgency, and they didn't play with urgency last night. Anaheim jumped on them early, 3-0. Rough night for Ranta, not the best first start of the season for him, but the Ducks take care of business there with the 6-3 victory over the Carolina Hurricanes in their home opener. So nice to have that clean sweep, sides and toes. A lot of the props did well that I posted in the 2 games as well, so great to see. Tompkins, struggling in his first start, journeyman goalie. He's been bounced around minor leagues, played over in Europe for a bit. And again, Tampa Bay just continues to have issues right now, keeping the puck out of the net, and likely will continue to have those issues until they get Andrei Vasilevsky back. Brady Tkachuk's been a monster this year, by the way. Shout out to him for Ottawa. He has been magnificent to begin the year. Alex, quick thoughts on Sunday?
Yeah, I mean, just interesting game for sure, both games, honestly, but especially that Anaheim-Carolina game. And, the Ducks, by the way, got to say, love the 30th anniversary jerseys. I wasn't really too clean on at first. Of course, the old school look and the colors are back, but those are really nice. And a good win for them. And a really interesting note, and I messaged you after the game. I was listening to the post-game show. I'm typing and just kind of having it on the background. What caught my ear was saying that they're working twice as hard in practices now to try to increase their tempo in games. And I love hearing quotes like that. So that's something to keep note of. They're trying to play fast. Now, whether the talent, do they have the horses to keep up with certain teams playing that style of hockey, they got to pick their battles with it. But it was a good way to do it against Carolina, because Carolina has way more talent, but speed is not their style. They can play you fast, sure, but they'd rather not. They'd rather dictate the pace and control, and they like a slower tempo. Speed kind of kills for them in the sense of when they get to start moving things fast, they get a little sloppy. So Anaheim working on that to their favor, something to keep a note of, and that's a team that we have circled as grabbing some good plus prices with from time to time. So that's something to definitely put in your handicapping notebook.
It is, and I appreciate you passing that along to me, because that's always good to see. And Greg Cronin, like I say, I like the hire. Doesn't mean it's going to be a great season. Obviously, they're 1-1 to start, but still, when you can beat a quality outfit like Carolina, that's impressive. And a nice bounce back, considering they lost to Vegas Saturday night on the road. Bounce back, and look, it was a tougher travel turnaround for Anaheim, traveling from Vegas back home, whereas basically Carolina's got a trip down the freeway from LA to Anaheim for the back-to-back for them last night. So Anaheim overcame it with a nice performance there. No question about that. All right, let's jump right into Monday. We've got 5 games. We'll begin with Florida and New Jersey. We've got the Devils, -180, home favorite, 6.5 being the total here in this game. Hey, you know where I'm going in this hockey game. It's fade Florida until proven otherwise for me. This is obviously a team we pegged to have some struggles out of the gate, with no Aaron Ekblad, with no Brandon Montour. The 2 best defensemen on the team, not only in their own end, but driving the play, moving that puck from defense to offense out of their own zone. They missed that quite a bit. That component is really, really damaged when those 2 guys are not playing and those 2 players aren't on the ice. And we are definitely seeing that right now for the Florida Panthers. Meanwhile, you got New Jersey here, where they're probably coming into this game with a sense of urgency after losing to Arizona on Friday night in a shootout. And that was another big underdog that came through for me, the Coyotes, on Friday night against the Devils. But now's the time for me to get back to the Devils in this game. A New Jersey team that I think is definitely going to want to bounce back. Bobrovsky has not looked great, and Bobrovsky's goals saved above average numbers, they really don't look good here in the first 2 games, and that would be something that concerns me, especially with the much weaker blue line that Bobrovsky has in front of him right now for this Florida Panthers team. We are going to see, it looks like, a little bit of a lineup change here for Florida tonight. Sam Reinhart's probably been their best forward, you could say, this season for the Panthers. He's got 2 points against Winnipeg. He was noticeable against Minnesota, even though they got shut out. And he's going to play on the top line tonight with Barkov and Rodriguez for Florida. So there's probably value in the props tonight for Sam Reinhart on the Florida Panthers side of it. You know what that means, whether it's shots on goal, a point prop, goal prop. Value on Reinhart now moving up to the top line for Florida. Verhaeghe, Luostarinen, and Tkachuk stays the same. But that's the main change there. I mean, that blue line is still very worrisome. Meanwhile, you've got the New Jersey Devils. Like I said, there's going to be a little bit of shifting here to Foley, Hughes, and Bratt on the top line. Meyer, Hischier, and Andre Palat's moving up, actually, to the second line here for the New Jersey Devils tonight. So do keep that in mind. Maybe his props have a little bit of value here in this game. But I like New Jersey here. And what I'm going to do in this spot with the Devils tonight is team total and probably regulation split here in this game. So you could do Devils regulation is -108 in this game. You could also do, if you're worried about this game going to overtime, you could do -114 with New Jersey as well. But I'm going to go in regulation -108. And I'm also going to bite a little bit on that team total over 3.5 at -134 for the New Jersey Devils. So split bet, team total, and Devils in regulation. It's exactly what I did with Ottawa on Saturday against Philadelphia. And I'm going to use that same pathway with Devils here tonight against the Panthers. The team total split with the regulation price. Alex, what do you think here, Florida, New Jersey?
Yeah, I was seeing higher regulation totals around -$1.20 to $1.30. So if you can find anything, cheaper than $1.15, count me in for New Jersey regulation as well. Just a simple fade of Florida.
Nice and simple. Why not? That's what we've been doing. We both were on, I believe, we were both on Winnipeg, and we were both on Minnesota in the first 2 games for against this Florida team. And it's not going to get any easier, obviously, tonight here facing the New Jersey Devils. I love the Hamilton point prop. I absolutely love it. It's undervalued. He's gotten a point in each of the first 2 games for the New Jersey Devils. I'm surprised, that there's not been a bigger adjustment with Dougie Hamilton's point prop. It's -115 at FanDuel. I mean, that's dirt cheap right now with what you're seeing from him. There's no question as far as being able to produce offense from the back end. Great price again on the Dougie Hamilton point prop there tonight in this game. All right, next up, we've got Detroit and Columbus. The Red Wings, -135, road favorites. Total in this one, 6.5. Of course, Columbus winning the game against the New York Rangers. Give them credit. I mean, that's what they're capable of, offensively. This is a team that should be able to find offense this year. Patrick Laine, I talked about how I thought he, with Pascal Vincent now as the head coach, was going to really be someone that's going to look to find his stride. He's gotten a point in each of the first 2 games for this Columbus Blue Jackets team. He also scored in the first game that they played this season against Philadelphia. He's been a lot more noticeable. I think that's what you like to see from him. I think the goal prop probably worth a look for him tonight as well. It is worth noting here that they are going to give Adam Fantilli, it looks like, who's been playing down the lineup. I'm seeing him listed on the top line for Columbus tonight, the young number 3 overall pick for the Jackets, playing alongside Laine and Alexander Tessier. So keep that in mind. It looks like that's going to be some interesting lineup shifting going on by Pascal Vincent. So Fantilli props now all of a sudden. The value meter goes up just a little bit on that, and he's +118 at FanDuel to get a point. And that way you don't have to worry about him scoring his first NHL goal. He did have an assist in the first game. You take the point prop, you just worry about him getting on the score sheet in any fashion. So +118. The point prop for Fantilli, I like that quite a bit here now that he's moving up to that top line, going to get all kinds of opportunity. If I look at the latest power play units as well, he's going to get that second power play time as well in this game, which is what you like to see. As far as the goaltending goes, Merzlikins for the Columbus Blue Jackets, he ended up leaving the game against the Rangers with that illness, that flu bug, very similar to what Thatcher Demko dealt with last week. He didn't finish that game. Third period, Spencer Martin comes in, the former Vancouver Canuck, to finish that game. And Merzlikins is still not feeling well enough to play tonight. So it's back to Spencer Martin in net tonight for the Columbus Blue Jackets. And not exactly a picture of consistency in net with the Vancouver Canucks. And that's being nice because he definitely had some struggles. And now you look at the way the blue line is with Zach Werenski out long term. And you really have to wonder, is this going to be a blue line that Martin's going to be able to thrive playing behind or struggle playing behind? There's still a lot of question marks right now with Columbus on the blue line moving forward. And I think you can say the same thing about Detroit. I've said coming into the year, this Sider, Wallman, Sherratt, Hall, Gostisbehere, Petrie blue line, I don't love it. I think they are a little susceptible at the back end. The Detroit Red Wings. They are a team that I don't consistently trust night in and night out to shut down the opposing team. And sure enough, in the first couple of games of the season here for Detroit, we have seen some defensive issues for them. New Jersey, the Tampa Bay game. Now, granted, those are some pretty good offensive teams that they played, but they didn't exactly shut the door in either of those two games. They gave up 4 to New Jersey, 4 to Tampa Bay. So 4 goals in both games. Both of their games have gone over the total. They are capable of scoring goals. And we do have a series history. 4 of the last 5 have gone over the total between these two teams. So I'm on over 6.5 here with Red Wings and Blue Jackets. Pretty clear cut and dry decision for me. I like both teams better offensively than I do at the back end right now. I can say that about Detroit for me, and I can say that about Columbus as well. And for Detroit, by the way, I didn't mention it earlier. I'll mention it now. It is James Reimer going to make his debut with the Detroit Red Wings, his first start in net this season. And look, Husso, better than Reimer. Is Husso great? No, but he's better than James Reimer, more trustworthy than James Reimer. And again, Detroit's having issues keeping the puck out of their net. So I like goals both ways tonight, over 6.5 here in this game for me. Alex, Detroit, Columbus.
Yeah, a lot of 5-on-5 hockey, and by that I mean the goaltenders won't amount to much. We're going to go over 6.5, but I'm going to wait and grab something in game. I would have grabbed half of this at 120, but I ended up being out today, and when I came back home, I saw 135, 140. I'm seeing the 7s now, and it makes sense. Everybody's fading Spencer Martin, who is fadeable, and it was funny. I thought somebody was kind of in support of Spencer Martin in the chat, but they were just saying they were happy to see his name confirmed. And yeah, rightfully so. His numbers in the NHL, weren't that great last year. The one good year he's had in his whole career was that in Abbotsford in 21-22, which keep in mind the AHL kind of almost ran like a college league because they were still recovering from the pandemic. So I take a lot of their numbers from that particular season with a huge grain of salt, unless we're talking playoffs. He was a bum in San Antonio years ago. He's not that guy. So we're gonna go over. If you can grab 6.5 at $1.20, $1.25, I grab some of that now. Anything higher, wait in game, give this about 3 or 4 minutes, and then try to hit this 5.5. That 5.5 should be around maybe 120, 125. So you're laying the price out of the way. It's just whether you can get a better number.
As far as goal props go tonight, ride the Michigan kid playing for his hometown state team, if you will. Alex DeBrincat's been great to start the year. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Alex DeBrincat to score a goal. I think if you're going to focus on someone for Detroit, it's him. Larkin to score a goal. Larkin overshots on goal, too. Larkin's been shooting the puck, high-volume shooter early in the season as well for the Detroit Red Wings. So there's a couple of props there on the Detroit side that I would look to and target here in this game tonight against the Columbus Blue Jackets. All right, next up, Arizona Coyotes and New York Rangers. We've got the Rangers minus 230, home favorites, 6.5, the total in this one. I'm back to Arizona, man. I am. I'm getting greedy with this team. I like their energy. I like what they've got. I like the blend up front. I like that they've got Cooley and Keller and Hayton and all this young group that seems to be getting better, and they've gained more experience now. Not so much Cooley, but the other two, Hayton and Keller. And Michelli is also a guy that played full season last year for Arizona. They've got a nice little infusion of veterans, bringing in Kerfoot, bringing in Dumba. I like the blend that they've got Zucker. I mean, they've got a nice little blend going, and they were toe-to-toe with New Jersey the other night. You watched that game, and they were toe-to-toe. It was even. It was a pretty even hockey game. And that's supposed to be one of the best teams in the Eastern Conference. And they went in there and they beat them in a shootout. Now, the one thing that does concern me is you get the Rangers here off a loss, and a loss they weren't happy with against Columbus the other night. Maybe if they were off a win, feeling a little overconfident, satisfied, it'd be an even better spot to back Arizona tonight. You would think the Rangers, in theory, are going to want to play better and bounce back here in this one. But, I like Arizona again. I mean, I just think this team's dramatically undervalued to start the season. It's also why I like them against New Jersey. And I'm going to do what I've done sometimes with these big underdogs. This is the approach I took with Anaheim last night against Carolina, where I'm going to do the split bet. We're going to do a little Arizona here on the money line. And there are still some plus 200 prices out there, plus 208 currently at Pinnacle for Arizona money line. And we're going to split it with that team total on the Coyotes as well, which is another dirt cheap number. Kind of reminds me of getting a plus 110, Alex, last night with Anaheim over 2.5. And this one, Arizona over 2.5, is like even money, plus 100, minus 102. So I'm going to go with both of those. And that's a great point by Jarek. Last two at Madison Square Garden, Coyotes Rangers went to overtime. So there's some recent series history proof that Arizona can play this team tough. They're undervalued. And early in the season, again, don't tell Arizona they're supposed to suck. Don't tell Anaheim last night they're supposed to suck and be bad and lose every game. Early in the season, even these mediocre teams, there's going to be a leveling off at some point, clearly. But everyone thinks it's a new season, new optimism. People think, hey, let's go. They're excited for the new season. And you're going to get great efforts from these teams that are perceived to be not as good. And so this is the time to back teams like this and the time to maybe take some shots here early in the season. And like I say, I think Arizona is better than they're being priced right now. Alex, what do you think here? Coyotes, Rangers.
Yeah, I agree. Like I said, Arizona, they're going to have these key spots. I just don't know if this is one of them, especially with a Ranger team coming home after already blowing one of these spots against Columbus. That's what makes me a little skeptical. And more than likely, I'm passing this game altogether. I was even trying to look and see, maybe give some credence to the first period over in this spot. But even then, I could see where Arizona's going to want to try to slow things down. This is going to look like an Arizona game from 2 years ago, right? They know they can't just completely start going tit for tat with the Rangers. Okay, Zibanejad and Panarin and company will eat them alive if they get into a boat race. So they got to slow things down early and kind of implement their game, but they got to dictate the pace first. So maybe this is one of those games where if I were looking for something live, I'd wait really late, see if I can get a half a goal, see if the goaltenders step up, and that's a big question mark. Connor Ingram in net for Arizona. So I know he had better numbers, especially in the second half, but I'm not fully relying on him just being a brick wall at any given moment. But maybe 10 minutes in, there's no score. You can get just look for any goal in the first period, go for a half a goal. This might be the spot I look at for here. But other than that, this is a pass. There's a couple other spots I like that are down the card. So passing this one altogether.
All right, a pass here for Alex in this one. And like I said, I think there's definitely some opportunities here to continue to look at Arizona. You're right. And you said basically the reason you're passing is the concern I expressed a minute ago too. You're right. I wish it was Rangers off a good win, rather than a loss that, they weren't happy, obviously, with the Columbus performance. You would expect better. And we'll see
Even
if that ends up happening.
a tough loss. If it had been like a shootout, like a 3-2 shootout loss, then I'd be like, okay. And then actually would probably have me a little bit more leaning on Arizona. But yeah, just off of a bad loss to a bad team, that's where I'm like, the Rangers come out here and get 2 goals in a couple minutes and boat race Arizona. And history has said they usually do crush Arizona.
Yeah, they do. Although in MSG, it's been tougher for the Rangers against the Arizona Coyotes. We'll see if that can be the case here again tonight. So we'll see how it goes with that. A couple of props. This is not one of the bigger prop games here for me, but definitely when I look at the youngster Cooley, and like I say, I always like to sometimes just for small, amounts of money in play, but small bets on some of these kids to really want to show what they can do. He had 2 points and 2 shots on goal against New Jersey. He was very noticeable out there. He didn't look like he was out of place, didn't look like he was uncomfortable. So plus 114 on Cooley to get a point. once again tonight. You could sprinkle on the goal prop too, plus 430 if you think he's going to pop his cherry tonight and get that first NHL goal. That's plus 430, but the point prop especially, plus 116. Like I said, a 2-point night against New Jersey. He looks like he's ready for NHL duty, Logan Cooley. There's nothing that tells me he's not ready to be an integral factor and contributor to this Arizona Coyotes team right away. Yes, Connor Ingram is in net. And yes, we do have concerns with that, but he was better in the second half last year. And he was really good in the preseason. Now, preseason doesn't always mean that the regular season is going to play out that way as well, but he was solid in the preseason. I'm willing to give him a shot here tonight. All right, Calgary, Washington. We've got the Calgary Flames minus 125 road favorites, and the total in this game currently at 6, shaded to the over in this game. I'm back to the well with the Calgary Flames here tonight. Minus 120, minus 125. I thought they should have beat Pittsburgh. You had a bad third period. That can't happen. That was a horrible way to end that game. They had played pretty well. They had actually controlled the flow against Pittsburgh for the first 2 periods. They outplayed, outshot, outchanced Pittsburgh. They had the 1-0 lead. Matt Coronado got the 1 goal for them. And, of course, that phenomenal call for plus 410 that on Saturday with the bargain bin special of the night segment. Getting that Coronado goal. But I think Calgary's better here in this spot. And to me, this is just more so not so much Calgary bounce back, and I'm higher on Calgary than probably some people. But it's Washington looked god-awful against Pittsburgh. Horrendous. I mean, they didn't generate much. They weren't winning many puck battles. They looked slow of foot, which really isn't surprising because they looked that way a bunch last year too. It's just a team that I think's got their share of issues right now. And as far as the goaltending, Kemper's back from his little tenure away from the team because of birth of his kid. So he's back now, expected to be between the pipes for Washington tonight. We'll see how he fares. We'll see who's in net for Calgary. It's funny, Ryan Huska there hasn't been a goalie confirmation on the Calgary side yet. Is this a spot maybe we see Dan Vladar make his Calgary debut for the season here tonight against Washington? We'll wait and see on that. But regardless, it doesn't change my opinion on this game. Calgary, I think, has the potential and the capability to beat a Washington team that, to me, there was nothing impressive about their game. I thought the penalty kill was lousy. 2 power play goals for Pittsburgh. They got badly outshot 35-19. They just didn't generate much at all. It's a winnable hockey game for a Calgary team that's on the up. Washington, a team that's on the way down in the other direction. So Calgary for me here, minus 125. This is one where I'm probably going to I might do a split with the team total again, but I'm probably going to put a little more on the money line because I could also see this, being a 3-1 kind of win for Calgary. I could see something like that. The team total's 3.5. I do feel a little bit better about the money line rather than just splitting it up evenly with the team total on the Flames. So probably be an 80-20 split, if you ask me, as far as Calgary money line ratio to the team total on the Flames for me in this game. Alex, what do you think here, Flames Capitals?
Yeah, I got to give a big shout out to Jarek Rubel. He's coming through with the big stats goaltending wise in the chat. Normally, those are the things I look at. This goaltending matchup, it screams Capitals in this spot, but form wise, there is no way I'm touching Washington, and Calgary is certainly the side to back here. I took a shot with them in regulation. You can get that now as high as plus 110 to plus 120. I saw it at plus 105 earlier today, but I grabbed a plus 10. I rebought in on that. So plus 105, 110 for record purposes, but plus 20s are available for sure. This is a Capitals team I just don't trust off the bottom. And that proud dad theory, we like that for a goal scorer prop. I'm not really, too keen on that necessarily for a goaltender. I don't think that means a big win or a shutout necessarily. So yeah, everything points to Calgary in this spot. They've got the better pace and intensity, and if this becomes just a skating match, Calgary will skate circles around Washington. Washington just doesn't have any kind of speed to keep up with what we've seen from this improved Calgary team, especially with the blue liners joining up on the rush. So give me Flames in regulation.
All right, Flames in regulation here for Alex with this matchup here against the Washington Capitals. And I do want to point out I also think as far as saves prop, Calgary has not lacked shots on goal again this year. They're shooting the puck. They had a lot of shots against Pittsburgh, especially early in that hockey game. So Darcy Kemper over saves. And look, Pittsburgh gave up or Washington gave up 30 shots plus to Pittsburgh in their first game. So yeah, Kemper over saves. Perlo is onto it as well. I see in the chat he likes it as well. Yeah, Kemper over saves. It's probably my favorite saves prop tonight. Darcy Kemper over saves for Washington. I think he'll be peppered and he'll be tested. And we know one thing about this Calgary Flames team so far this season. It's looked that way. It was like this way all of last season. They're not scared to put the puck on the net. Their accuracy, finishing, is still what needs to improve for them. But they're not shy about shooting the puck. And I definitely think over saves will be a good prop for Kemper and the Capitals here tonight in this one. As far as props, there's not too many on the Washington side. Obviously, they got shut out, so you've really got to be careful. But here, actually, there is one that I am interested in here in this game. I'll save it because it's bargain bin material for later in the show. And it's not Matt Coronado. We used him once. We don't usually go back to the same guy 2 games in a row. But I certainly would sprinkle on Coronado again here tonight in this game. I mean, he's the one guy that's got a lethal finish for the Calgary Flames. He gets the puck away quickly. It's a quick release. He's very accurate. He can hit top corner with it. And a lot of the times some other players on this Calgary team can't do that. So plus 370 again for Coronado tonight to find the back of the net for the Calgary Flames. Definitely think that is worth a look here. But my goal prop, my bargain bin special for tonight is not that. It is something else from this game, which we'll get to in a bit. But first, we've got to get to the final game on this Monday card, and it is Connor Bedard in Toronto for the first time in his career. Chicago Blackhawks, Toronto Maple Leafs. Toronto minus 350, holy favorite in this game. Minus 350 home favorites. The total sitting at 6.5, shaded to the over in this game. I bemoaned it on the recap of Saturday's card on the Sunday show. Frustrated I didn't go back to the well with the Toronto Maple Leafs over the total. This is a over machine if I've ever seen one to begin the year. Maybe the best team that the Leafs have had offensively in all these years that Matthews and Marner and Nylander and Tavares have been on the team, because they've got even more depth of scoring with Domi there now and Tyler Bertuzzi there now and Matthew Nyes and Fraser Minton, young players that can chip in offensively. They've been quiet so far, but that's not going to last forever. They're good offensive players. And you look at a guy like Noah Gregor with great speed on their fourth line. He's scored a goal for them. So they can get goals from everywhere. Up and down the lineup, all 4 lines. They are lethal offensively. Not to mention, Riley's a good offensive-minded defenseman. John Klingberg is there now. He has gotten off to a good start offensively from the back end for the Leafs as well. He's got 3 points in the first 2 games for this Toronto team, John Klingberg. Very, very impressive. Now, in his own end, he can be a train wreck at times. But I'm talking about the offensive side of things for John Klingberg. He's been very good for this Leaf blue line. He's plus 100 to get a point right now. That's a steal. That's one of my favorite props tonight. John Klingberg point plus 100 for the Toronto Maple Leafs. That's outstanding because he is getting involved in a lot of this offense. Take this price with John Klingberg to get a point now before the price increases if he keeps this point production going moving forward. Definitely like that. They're going to be able to score goals, but the problem for the Leafs is I think they're a weaker defensive team this year compared to last year. Why is that? Because Bertuzzi, while he's great offensively, he's not the most diligent back checker in the world away from the puck. And certainly Max Domi, same thing for the Toronto Maple Leafs. That concerns me. Klingberg's a plus offensive-minded defenseman, but not a great defensive-minded defenseman. Sheldon Keefe can talk to the media like he has the last 2 days about we got to keep working on our defensive game. I don't know if the personnel long-term right now is in place for them to be just that staunch defensive team. I just don't. And they have had issues with that. Minnesota scoring 4 goals in your building, is not exactly going to give you defensive confidence. That is for sure. And then we saw Montreal. They gave up 5 goals in that game and ended up winning 6-5 in a shootout. And look, Chicago has their issues, right? I'm concerned about Chicago a little bit offensively. They've only scored 3 goals the last 2 games. Without Taylor Hall now, they're the top line with Bedard on it. They've had to shift things around a little bit. And it looks like tonight it's going to be Hall, Bedard, and although Hall, it looks like, is he back? He is. He is back tonight. So that's huge for the Chicago Blackhawks. Taylor Hall back. So there we go. We got that great top line intact again Hall, Bedard, and Donato. Keep in mind how great that chemistry was looking in the Pittsburgh game and early in the Boston game until Hall got injured. So very, very unfortunate that he got injured, but nice to see him back this quickly. And Hall, Bedard, Donato reunited for Luke Richardson tonight. Johnson, Reichel, Radish, second line. Foligno, Dickinson, Perry, the third line. Kachuk, Entwistle, and Athanasiou, the Greek Stallion, down on the fourth line right now. The defense, man, good luck to the Vlasic, Jones, Korchinski, Murphy, Tenorti, and Kaiser, 6 for the Blackhawks. Because, gosh, this Toronto team is going to put them to the test. That is for sure. Now, Mrazek is back in Toronto. We know that. Facing his old team. It hasn't been confirmed yet, believe it or not, but I'd be shocked if it's not Peter Mrazek in net against his old team. There's always that axe to grind. There's always that extra incentive and motivation, and you're fired up to play your old team. But I don't know. This is going to be a Chicago team that's going to be in tough, I think, to slow down this very, very, very tough and explosive Toronto offense, which, again, they've scored 13 goals in the first 2 games of the season, the Leafs. Goal scoring is not their issue. This is one where I'm so bullish on goals in this game here between these 2 teams that not only am I going to go with over 6.5 minus 135, I'm going to go to an old special of mine. Both teams to score in the first period here with Chicago and Toronto. I haven't talked about this much so far this season, and I had my eye on some spots. I haven't fired on any yet as far as the both teams to score first period is concerned. But man, if there's ever one to take to go with, it's this game, and it's plus 140. Pretty good price there for both teams to score in the first period here, Blackhawks and Leafs. Now it is Joseph Woll in net for the Leafs tonight. His first start of the season. Samsonov played the first 2 games. People are saying Samsonov's look bad. It's time to give Woll a start. Woll will be better. I'm not so sure. I think a product of the Leafs giving up a lot of goals the first 2 games is more the play in front of their goaltender, not so much the goalie, Samsonov. And if they are still laboring in their own end tonight, like they did against Minnesota and Montreal, even with Woll in net, I think they're still going to have a tough time keeping the puck out of the net consistently. And Chicago, and especially Bedard, fired up to play that first game in the Big Smoke TO, the T-dot for the first time. So I think there's a lot of goals, over 6.5, and in that first period, both teams to score, plus 140. Alex, Blackhawks and Leafs.
Yeah, so I jumped all over this game yesterday and identified this as a spot that I really loved because of 2 things. Looking at just the history of trends, 6-0-4 to the first period over in the last 10 games when it lined at 2. If all the games were lined at 1.5, we'd be talking about 17-3. The last 20 meetings. These have been high scoring affairs early and often in these contests. So it's a little tricky because we're getting this split. We're getting some 2s. We're getting some 1.5s for the first period. So here's how I'm recommending this. If you have a book with a 2 that's plus money, play that for 2 units. That's a best bet of mine. I'm already spoiler alert. That's my best bet tonight. If you have a book that's 1.5 at minus 150 to minus 175 is what I'm seeing in that range. Play both teams to score first period plus 140 like Ian recommended for a unit, but also wait for that live over to drop from that 1.5. That 175 will quickly turn into a 160, into a 150. They don't really start chipping away in 10 or 5 cent increments until they start getting into that 150 range. So we're talking about a scoreless 3 to 4 minutes before you're able to lay 120. At that point, I would definitely fire. Even if you have 2, definitely try to get 120 for 1.5 live. That should be within the first 3 or 4 minutes of the contest. So that's what I'm all over for tonight. Nothing on the side. And this is one of those games where I wish the Hawks had better goaltending, because if we had a capable goaltender, 290, I'd be all over this. But Peter Mrazek, 2-9 lifetime against Toronto. He can have all the revenge in his mind he wants. I don't know if he'll be able to execute it with the way this offense is looking right now. The Leafs should blow the Hawks out. There's going to be a ton of goals in this game. I think we'll have chances to just keep firing. If you have a book that has next to score props, which we haven't talked about lately because some books have not had this. I found out the reason why. It's because there's an issue with some of the sports books. The server feed that they get a lot of these lines from has been down in regards to this, and it has something to do with them possibly cutting a market out. This may only become a 2-way market of where you can bet on either team to score and not have the no goal option. So while they're in the midst of doing that, we haven't been able to bet that too often for our live plays, but that's something I will be looking at often, certainly once it gets fixed. If you do have that option available, this is one of those nights where you'll be able to find a lot of good two-way action betting next team to score, because I think it's going to go back and forth tonight.
Yeah, exactly. Definitely, I think it's going to be a fun game to watch. And sometimes I get a little nervous when it's these obvious over spots, and you feel, how does this not go over the total? I kind of felt that with Tampa at Ottawa going into yet. Like, how does that not go over the total? Even Detroit, Tampa, I felt that way. How does it not go over the total? And it did. So maybe, relax. If sometimes you just you find ways to scare yourself out of a position and out of a stance and a wager. And I refuse to do that anymore, even if it looks obvious. And this does look obvious that we should see some offense both ways here tonight. And there's so many different ways you can go about it from props. First of all, Bedard to get a point, Bedard to get over 3.5 shots on goal. I'm telling you what, there's still value on Bedard over shots. The kid's firing the puck. He's doing it early and often. He continues to shoot the puck a lot for Chicago. 5, 6, and 5 are the shots on goal numbers registered by Connor Bedard in the first 3 games, and still only over 3.5 at around -150. So I think he hits 4 shots again. The Bedard shot or the point prop is good. And look, that was one of the games where he was held in check a little against Montreal. Point -140. This might be the time maybe that find that second goal, +195 in this game potentially as well. You mentioned the last time we saw Hall, Donato, and Bedard together as a line, Ryan Donato found the back of the net. So, he's always live, I think, at +350 at Caesars, maybe, to find the back of the net for Chicago. For Toronto, I've said William Nylander over shots on goal and William Nylander like to score a goal. If you bet those two things, you're going to make money more often than not. And again, his over shots on goal tonight, Nylander, again, playing for a contract, over 3.5, -144 at Bet Rivers. To get a goal, +125. He scored in back-to-back games. Nylander, you can't go wrong right now. Matthews, back-to-back hat tricks. He's been unbelievable. He has been incredible for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Hat trick against Montreal, and he has another one against Minnesota on Saturday. But, we are actually seeing at some books, at least at Bet365, we are seeing some adjustments. The hat trick prop for Matthews is +1,400, 14-1 to get a hat trick. For Matthews. So if you buy into a third straight game to start the season for him to get a hat trick, 14-1. Now, it's not the 20-25, 30-1 that it was the first 2 games. They are starting to adjust that a little bit, but still 14-1 if you think Matthews can make it 3 straight games in a row with a hat trick to begin the season.
It's not crazy to, turn away from. I mean, 14-1, when you're talking about Peter Mrazek, and if he gets chased, it's Arvid Soderblom. And why not take a flyer on 14-1?
Yeah, I certainly wouldn't talk anyone out of it just because he's done it so far. And this is going to be one of those deals too. And as we saw it in the first 2 games, like they're feeding Matthews, especially when he gets those 2 goals. There's no question. Yeah, 22-1. Cheshire Cat says he found a 22-1. If you did, good find. That's obviously a little bit of a better price. So no doubt. And it's going to be interesting to see. But how this one plays out. And by the way, who's got some value tonight? Bertuzzi as well got off the schneid. He might be worth a look. But moving up to the second line tonight for Toronto is I'm going back to Callie Yarncroke moving up the line and line up to the second line. He's going to play with Nylander and Tavares tonight. And Sheldon Keefe said, I think he's earned it. He's played well. He's gotten on the score sheet, and now he's going to get even more opportunity. Not only that second line role, but it looks like he's also going to maybe get some power play time tonight for the Leafs as well on the second unit. So Callie Yarncroke, power play point, +600 if you're really feeling frisky, and +350 to score a goal for him tonight for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Again, a guy moving up to the second line with Nylander and Tavares, obviously playing with very good players. He had a 2-point night against Minnesota on Saturday, getting a goal and an assist. So definitely some value there for sure. Great game. Looking forward to that one. Very entertaining card, actually. There's a lot of games. Yeah. There should be some goals. So 2 in particular. I really like the overs in Toronto and in Columbus specifically. But we should see a decent amount of goals tonight in these 5 games and some entertaining hockey. So great stuff with that. Shout out to everyone in the chat. 272 live viewers. Hit the like button. Remember, Ice Guys family plan, $9.99 a month. We've got tons of great stuff. Finally, by tonight, as I'll be working on finalizing those power ratings. It's busy on Mondays when I got all these shows to do, but we'll get that out there tonight. First set of power ratings for the season. We'll do the top 5 teams on the community tab on YouTube. It's just such a clunky interface as far as texting is concerned on the YouTube community for the family plan members. So the full power ratings will be on the Patreon page, just like Alex's full goalie charts. Depth charts are going to be the full version are going to be on the Patreon page, only the top 5 on the community tab. So that's the way we'll go about it. And again, we'll have our daily betting card on both Patreon and the community page, our player props on Patreon and the community page, live bets. Man, Alex is off to a hell of a season with that live bets. How about that? Another easy one with that first period over with Carolina and Anaheim last night. I mean, he just put the thing out there, and then all of a sudden, bam, it's 2-0 Anaheim, just like that. Couldn't get any easier than that. So lots of great stuff, and we haven't even scratched the surface with the family plan members yet. We're going to have lots of video content. We're going to start doing some bonus live betcasts throughout the course of the season as well, which will be exclusive to those that are signed up with the Ice Guys family plan as members. So make sure you check that out and join if you haven't done so already.
Yeah, absolutely. Join the family plan and also check out the Patreon page too, patreon.com/Ice Guys. Like I said, all the full charts will be written there. It's a much cleaner interface. We will also have them eventually available for download form, for PDF form. So if you want to have a copy that you can download rather than just copy paste it into your current notes or whatever, you want to have something that you can keep and save in your phone. Necessarily, we'll be working on that. So those will be coming up real soon. We'll also have a couple of articles as well. We're also going to add, I've noticed a lot of this. I don't know if you've been seeing this, Ian, in the chat. There's been a lot of people asking about different things like, certain kind of, types of lingo that we use as bettors that are hockey specific. So I'm going to do like a little kind of a chart, if you will, and post that in the Patreon page as well. You're wondering about some of the terms that we may throw around that you may not be familiar with, some of the new viewers. We will have all that information tracked there as well. And also the Ice Guys store, check that out, iceguys.myspreadshop.com. We got all of our regular merch there, but we're going to have a limited edition drop coming soon, and this will be unveiled on Wednesday to those of you who are signed up to the Ice Guys family plan on YouTube and the Patreon page. We will have the code out. We're dropping a couple of new hats. We got a snapback hat in the works. We've got a toque in the works. We've got a nice bomber jacket. So we got a couple of cool things. So check that out. Those will drop for family plan members and Patreon members on Wednesday. It'll be open to the public over by the weekend. And also just check out the store every day, iceguys.myspreadshop.com. We got all kind of new items in there as well.
Special shout out to David Shelton, $4.99 donation. We appreciate, and this is extra on top of, this is not a membership sign up. This is a donation, and that's even more heartfelt and appreciative on our part. We appreciate that, David Shelton. I know you cashed with one of those big goal props on the weekend, so we appreciate it. The $4.99 donation, a small tip to get the day started, $5 worth of luck for us to share. Very much, very kind, David. Appreciate it very much. And shout out to our 2 new Ice Guys family plan members since this show started. Damon Williams, shout out to you. We appreciate it. New YouTube member, and JT Eel as well. Thank you for joining us here on the Ice Guys family plan.
Great question in the chat about what's the difference between the family plan and the Patreon plan. So let me explain the Patreon plan.
Yeah.
All of our full writing content will be in the Patreon plan. So my full goalie charts and power rankings, Ian's power rankings, any articles. We've already got the bookmarks that all bettors should follow, all hockey bettors should follow. We'll have certain special things that are more written driven in the Patreon platform. On the Ice Guys family thing will be mostly video content, but we'll also have some written things like just the short segment of our power rankings. And of course, the live plays that I've been entering in, those will be, we don't have that kind of compatibility to add in things quick enough on Patreon. So we have to have that for YouTube. So we encourage everybody to have, of course, YouTube, the mobile app, to be able to get those things as well. So, and that part is completely free. So that's the difference between having the ICS family plan with YouTube and having the Patreon package.
There you go. Great explanation. Yeah, absolutely. And there are some differences. There's a lot of things that are similar to both, but there are some differences. And Alex pointed those out very nicely there between Patreon and, of course, the Ice Guys Family Plan YouTube channel membership as well. All right, let's get into. I know everyone. It's like the segment that people just can't get enough of. Everyone's anxiously awaiting it each and every time now, each and every day on this show, and it's the bargain bin special of the night. And we're swinging for the fences with tonight's bargain bin special of the night because it's not like this guy is a household name. It's not like this guy is going to be playing a ton of minutes tonight based on his position in the lineup. But we're going to go back to the Calgary Flames Washington Capitals game for our bargain bin special of the night. We're going to go to a Washington Capital player, believe it or not. This is a guy that never, and actually, this is a guy that was with the Calgary Flames organization the last few years, never got a fair shake. Daryl Sutter didn't give him the time of day, didn't give him any sort of opportunity. And obviously, sure enough, he decided I'm going elsewhere in the offseason. He signed a one-year deal with Washington in the summer. Now, I think he signed that deal. He made up his mind that, he was going to leave after last season. He wanted no part of Calgary. Now, I think he left even after Sutter was let go. But he said, still, I want a new change of scenery. Washington gave him a nice contract for 1 year. And now he's going to be on the Capitals tonight on the third line against a team that he used to be with that really never got a fair shake. And this guy does have some offensive capabilities. 36 goals in 66 games last year in the AHL with the Calgary Wranglers. And he just never got enough opportunity with the Flames, with the big club. Well, now he's playing for Washington. He's going to be on their third line tonight, and he gets his first opportunity to play the team that didn't give him that fair shot last year. You think he's going to be fired up tonight? I should think so. We're going with Matthew Phillips for the Washington Capitals. Caesars has him at plus 700 to score a goal tonight. There you go. This from a situational standpoint, it makes sense. This is a guy that at the AHL level has shown an ability to score goals. Are there questions about whether he can show it at the NHL level? Yes, but I love the spot. I love the situation that Calgary didn't get really the opportunity he thought he deserved there. And now he gets to play Calgary for the first time as a member of the Washington Capitals tonight, playing on their third line. And he is plus 700 at Caesars to score a goal tonight. And even at some other books, there's still some good prices. Plus 650 at FanDuel, plus 625 at Bet99. Even BetMGM have plus 550. DraftKings has plus 550 with Matthew Phillips tonight. So you're talking about some really good prices in a spot where I think this guy is going to really want to play his ass off tonight here against this Calgary Flames team. And he is going to be on the second power play tonight for the Washington Capitals as well. Even better. What a price. Plus 700, Matthew Phillips to score a goal for the Washington Capitals. Spurned by the Calgary Flames and looking for a dose of payback here tonight.
All right. That's interesting. It's interesting, and it's a good angle. Like I said, sometimes those angles they seem a bit benign, but when you really kind of dig in deep, and once they hit the ice, those usually tend to pan out. So that's a great angle and a great payout if that one cashes for sure.
No doubt.
One I like for tonight, I'm going to go with actually the one that started it all for you, Ian, Ryan Donato. He's the forgotten guy on that line. Everybody looks at Connor Bedard. Everybody's going to look at Taylor Hall now that he's back in the line. But Ryan Donato is a talented guy. He deserves to be on the top line of an NHL team. And I'm happy that it's with the Blackhawks. I think he gets a goal here tonight. And I'm seeing Caesars at plus 350, a couple of their books at plus 325. So let's get him right back from the bargain bin here. Ryan Donato, the scorer for the Hawks tonight.
All right, one of our favorites. We've already cast one with him this season on the bargain bin special of the night. See if we can get one again, courtesy of Ryan Donato for the Chicago Blackhawks tonight as part of the bargain bin special. David Shelton, it must be Christmas for the Ice Guys. Another dono. We appreciate it. $9.99, David. That's much appreciated. And thank you. I mean, it's awesome to see that. Again, you are the guys. You're the reasons we are able to do this show. All your support. Everyone not only tuning in every day, but joining the family plan. We really do appreciate it. So shout out to everyone for showing the gratitude and the appreciation for us doing this show, and the only hockey betting show that's on 7 days a week throughout the NHL season. All right, best bets now to wrap up this Monday edition of the Ice Guys. A 2-0 sweep with best bets yesterday. See if we can deliver another 2-0 sweep for this Monday slate. Alex, we'll start with you. What do you like for best bet?
We're going with the Hawks and Maple Leafs over 2 in the first period plus 110. That is fairly widely available. Grab that if you can. If you can't grab that 1.5, that is way too steep at 170. You're going to wait about 3 or 4 minutes. Try to grab that at minus $1.20 and hit that. We should see goals galore. Hoping they won't come super fast because I want everybody to grab in on this with that 1.5, but definitely grab a 2 right now if available. At Chicago, Toronto over 2 in the first period. It's my best bet for Monday.
All right, there it is. Chicago, Toronto over 2, first period for Alex B. Smith with his best bet for this Monday card. My best bet for tonight, I am going to go with that Detroit Columbus over 6.5 minus 135. Red Wings 2-0 to the over this season. The first game for Columbus stayed under the total, but that was against Philadelphia. Detroit's got a lot more offensive capability to it. Struggling at their own end. Reimer in net for the Red Wings. Don't exactly trust him, and I certainly don't trust Spencer Martin and a Blue Jacket blue line without Zach Werenski on it. 4 of the last 5 meetings have gone over the total in the series, and I think we see another one tonight. Let's go Detroit Columbus over 6.5, minus 135 for my best bet for this Monday card. All right, that'll wrap it up. Thanks to everyone in the chat for joining us. Hit the like button. 8 days and counting away from our first live betcast of the season for this monster Tuesday night, October 24th NHL card that starts at 6 p.m. Eastern. The staggered start times. We will be with you starting at 6 p.m. Eastern next Tuesday, October 24th, for our first Ice Guys live betcast of the season. Not too early to request a spot on the betcast. You know, the same procedure as always.
Sure.
DM or email me or Alex, and we will make sure we send you the link during the betcast when it is taking place. But yeah, we are looking forward to that. That's going to be a great night. We've been begging the NHL for years to have a night like that where they stagger the start times, and finally they're doing it. Reminder, the Ice Guys is live 7 days a week, Monday to Friday, 2 p.m. Eastern, Saturday and Sunday, noon Eastern. If you can't watch the show live, download the Ice Guys podcast in audio form on all major podcast platforms. For Alex B. Smith, I'm Ian Cameron. Have a great Monday night. Enjoy the games and good luck, and we will talk to you again tomorrow on Tuesday for another edition of the Ice Guys.